Includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month. And get a free Roku 4-lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The city of Clinton has big dreams for future development, but one hurdle to some of those goals is the development of TIF districts. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Clinton City Administrator Tony Harris told the Heart Media Group he updated the Clinton City Council Tuesday night of his efforts to pursue the establishment of multiple TIF districts in Clinton.
That was a good meeting, and I gave a report. I think I mentioned last time I was in that I was coming up on my year anniversary with the city, and that was January the 13th. So basically, I gave them a report of some things that I would like to see going into 2026. You know, we got a few good things done last year, my first year, but I feel like I have a better grip on what I'm doing. So we've got the mayor and I and the council, we've got some good ideas going into 2026, and lots of good things with the two new businesses coming in, and several calls on other businesses looking to come in.
Really?
So good things, and basically just gave the council my ideas of going into 2026. I talked a little bit about housing. I frequently update housing. I mentioned this several times too. The partnership between myself, the city, and DCDC and Kurt Homan. We have been working on this pretty much nonstop. I mean, we talk daily about the housing crisis. So, we rolled up our sleeves and went to work on it.
According to Harris, there are developers interested in residential housing in Clinton. However, to help those interested parties, the city needs to establish TIF districts to help them recoup their costs.
We've met with a developer that's looking pretty good. They've got some interest in some property on the east side of town. I can't disclose the location because it's not a done deal yet. We've got them in contact with the owner of the land to try to purchase that land. So it's gone that far where they're looking at purchasing that land. We also got some potential growth on the east side as well for businesses and housing. So lots of things going on there. But the very first thing that I'm asked whenever we sit down at the table with a potential new business or a developer with land, that they ask about TIF. Do you have a TIF district in the city? Because these developers, they know that's what they need to recoup some of their costs to build subdivisions or businesses. So that's the first thing they ask. And I've mentioned that numerous times. The mayor, Clint and I attended a TIF conference back in the end of summer in Chicago at the IML conference, and we learned a lot about TIF, and we learned that we've got some good ideas coming out of that conference, and we believe that we need to hire a consultant to help us through this. We do have one active TIF in the city, and that's the downtown.
For Harris, his goal is to create 2 new TIF districts, one on the west side of the community and the other on the east side. One of these TIF districts would coincide with the city's desire to see the community cleaned up.
But what the idea is to, get the contract to help us with those 2 TIF districts. But then I've also started working on 2 brand new TIF districts. And these, again, we've got to consult with our consultant once we hire that firm. But the plan is to have, my plan anyway, is to have 2 pretty good sized TIF districts, one on the west side and one on the east side. Basically, the business growth that I talked about earlier and the housing on both sides would be in that TIF district. But not only that, we're not looking to just help businesses. I mean, that's where the tax increment comes from, is the business. They pay a higher tax into this TIF district to help them because they'll benefit from it. But not only them, our idea is to also help residential, like housing, not a new housing complex, not a new subdivision, but also help the struggling homeowner that needs to put new siding on their house, new windows on their house, new doors, roof, things like that. That's what we're checking into, to do some housing work similar to what we offer on the square through that TIF. We call that a facade grant. We would be guaranteeing something more along the lines of that to a residential home to help offset the cost to, like I said, put on new siding, things like that. Anything to make the housing in the area more attractive. Again, I've mentioned it numerous times. I mean, to get to attract businesses, we've got to get our home cleaned up. We pass ordinances. We're trying to get the homes cleaned up that way. This is one more step in that direction, is to make the housing market look more attractive, with siding, windows, things like that.
Harris hopes to see these TIF districts established as soon as this summer. While aggressive, he indicates there are businesses ready to develop in Clinton that are waiting for things like this to be established. A quiet start on the weather front as we begin February in Illinois. Temperatures may climb into the 50s next week, but things will get more active, says DTN agriculture meteorologist John Baranek.
What's really going to bring us the warm air is we're going to replace this cold trough in the east with a warm ridge. And then we're going to take all the warm air that's out in the west and make that cold. And so we kind of get this storm track that likes to go right in between the two. And that's right through the middle of the country. And so I'm sure we'll get some chances for at least some rain early to mid next week. And with one system kind of going across the north. But then a system going across the south late next week, maybe just cold enough on the northern edge of it across Illinois to give us some snow. We'll have to see on that. And then there's a couple of systems after that. I mean, we're going to be in kind of an active weather pattern, I think, for the middle of February. And we'll just have to see where those storm systems go. We don't know where they're going to be. More likely it's going to be snow for me up here in Minnesota than for you down in Illinois. But we'll have to watch those tracks. The further south they go, the more likely you are to get some snow down there. And if we've got some warm air out there and some cold air off in the west, that could end up being some heavy snowmaking material. So we'll have to watch that pretty closely.
He says there is a potential for freezing rain, but nothing to the extent of what occurred in Nashville last week. Get news anytime from your computer or from your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Here's Matt Hart, owner of the Hart Media Group in Clinton.
It's been great. You and Ben and the entire team are doing a great job. And we're just continuing on serving the local community, right? This is what this is all about. We're here to serve our local community. We're here to tell the local stories. We're here to cover the news. So nothing in that regard is changing. Our goal is connecting people. And that's our tagline at Hart Media Group. It's connecting people.
Hart purchased the Miller Media Group in August of 2025 and looks forward to serving the community for years to come.
Synthetic nitrogen prices continue to fluctuate unpredictably. So Pivot Bio launched Proven G3, a weatherproof source of nitrogen with 3 modes of action. It's the lowest cost source of nitrogen on the market, helping growers replace nearly 30 pounds of nitrogen and delivering a nearly 2 bushel per acre yield increase in over 100 nationwide trials. That's performance your corn can always count on. See real results at pivotbio.com/provenit.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance, your auto owner's insurance agent in Clinton, Farmer City, and Maroa. Stop by any of our locations or call 935-6605.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Andrei Stojakovic scored 17 points, and the number 5 Illinois Fighting Illini made 17 three-pointers in an 84-44 win over the Northwestern Wildcats on Wednesday night. Keaton Mogler, Zvonimir Ivisic, and Ben Hummerkaus each had 13 points for Illinois, who improves to 20-3 and 11-1 in the Big Ten and won their 12th straight game. David Mirkovic had 12 points, and Tomislav Ivasic had 12 rebounds. 6 players made threes for Illinois, which shot 17 of 38 from beyond the arc. Wagler, whose 19th birthday was Tuesday, has scored in double figures in 15 straight games and 20 times this season. He banked in a 3 from half court with 4 seconds left in the first half, giving Illinois a 47-19 lead at halftime. Northwestern falls to 10-13 and 2-10 in the Big Ten. They shot 29% from the field, including 4 of 25 on three-pointers, and did not have a player score in double figures. Nick Martinelli, the Big Ten's leading scorer, had just 4 points, 19 under his average. He was 2 of 10 from the field while playing 27 minutes. Trey Singleton led the Wildcats with 8 points. The Illini out-rebounded Northwestern 50-23. They've out-rebounded teams in 20 of 23 games with an 18-2 record in those games. Northwestern plays Sunday at Iowa, while Illinois plays Saturday at number 10 Michigan. Zach Werenski became the first defenseman to score 20 goals before an Olympic break. Jet Greaves got his second shutout of the season, and the Columbus Blue Jackets extended their winning streak to 7 with a 4-0 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks on Wednesday night. Ivan Povarov, Danton Heinen, and Sean Monahan also scored for Columbus, which has won 10 of 11 since Rick Bowness became coach on January 12th. Columbus was 7 games out of a playoff spot when Bowness was hired to replace Dean Evason. The Blue Jackets enter the Olympic break only 2 points behind the New York Islanders for third place in the Metropolitan Division. Greaves stopped 21 shots for his 4th career shutout in 58 games this season. Charlie Coyle added 2 assists. Spencer Knight made 16 saves for the Blackhawks, who have dropped 5 of 6. Werenski extended his scoring streak to 7 straight games at 4 minutes and 46 seconds of the first period with a snapshot from the bottom of the left faceoff circle that deflected off the skate of Chicago's Louis Crevier. Werenski, who joined Phil Housley and Reed Larson as the only American defenseman with consecutive 20-goal seasons, has 2 goals and 8 assists during his scoring run. Povarov made it 2-0 at 12 minutes and 50 seconds of the first period when he went top shelf with a wrist shot past Knight to the short side. Columbus defensemen have scored a league-high 44 points this season. The Blackhawks are at Nashville after the Olympic break on February 26th, while the Blue Jackets are at Boston on February 26th. Stars captain Jamie Benn snapped a 15-game goal drought by scoring twice, including the game winner with 23 seconds left, and Dallas beat the St. Louis Blues 5-4 on Wednesday night to go into the Olympic break with a 6-game winning streak. Robertson scored his 32nd goal this season in the first off a nifty pass from Mikko Rantanen, who had to regain control of the puck while going toward the net and pushed it across to Robertson to his right. It was the 431st career game for Robertson, the 39th overall pick in 2017, after the Stars had already taken defenseman Miro Heiskanen and goalie Jake Oettinger in that draft. Oettinger, one of 7 Stars going into the Olympics, made 14 saves to win his 6th game in a row. Blues goalie Jordan Binnington, who will be on Canada's Olympic team, stopped 23 shots. Jordan Kyrou had a goal and an assist for the Blues, who won only once in their last 9 games before the break. Pavel Bunchevich had a power play goal for St. Louis, which has scored with the man advantage in 7 of its last 8 games. Jimmy Snuggerud's unassisted goal in the third made him the first Blues rookie since Kevin Shattenkirk in 2011 to have a 6-game point streak. Snuggerud also assisted on Alexei Trapachenko's goal with 4 minutes and 29 seconds left that tied it at 4. It's the longest winning streak this season for Dallas, all by 1 goal, and 3 of them against the Blues. Both teams host Seattle in their first game after the Olympic break. Dallas plays the Kraken on February 25th, and St. Louis takes them on the next day. The Charlotte Hornets agreed to acquire Coby White and Mike Conley Jr. from the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday in exchange for Colin Sexton, Ousmane Dieng, and 3 future second-round draft picks. The Hornets announced earlier in the day that they had acquired Dieng and a second-round pick from Oklahoma City for center Mason Plumlee. White, the number 7 overall pick in the 2019 draft, joins a Hornets team that is surging towards its first playoff appearance in a decade, having won 7 straight games behind a young core of players. He averaged 18.6 points, 4.7 assists, and 3.7 rebounds per game for the Bulls, shooting 34.6% from three-point range, down slightly from his career average of 36.8%. Although it's unclear where he fits into the Hornets rotation, White gives Charlotte yet another scorer to join LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Con Knuppel, and Miles Bridges. The Hornets are 23-28 and currently 11th in the Eastern Conference, but they are 12-1 when they've started a lineup that includes Ball, Miller, Knuppel, and Bridges, and center Moussa Diabate, all of whom are now healthy. Knuppel has won 3 straight Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month awards, while Miller was named last week's Conference Player of the Week. The 25-year-old White has spent 7 seasons with the Bulls, averaging 15.4 points, 3.9 assists, and 3.7 rebounds. Sexton has been Ball's primary backup at point guard this season and has given the Hornets a boost off the bench, averaging 14.2 points, 3.7 assists in 42 games, while shooting 39.3% on threes. White scored 33,573 points for Greenfield High School in Wilson, North Carolina from 2014 to 2018. And White played 1 season in college at North Carolina before turning pro. He continues to host youth basketball camps on campus during offseason. Former All-Star outfielder Austin Hayes and the Chicago White Sox finalized a $6 million one-year contract on Wednesday. Hayes will have a $5 million salary this season, and the contract includes an $8 million mutual option for 2027 with a $1 million buyout. To make room for him on the 40-man roster, Chicago designated left-hand pitcher Brian Hudson for assignment. Chicago was seeking a veteran outfielder, particularly after trading Luis Robert Jr. to the New York Mets last month to help a young team. The 30-year-old Hayes has played in the postseason the last 3 years with Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Cincinnati. He was an all-star with the Orioles in 2023 when he hit .275 with 16 homers and 67 RBIs. But he's dealt with multiple injuries since then, as well as a kidney infection. In 2024, Hayes was sent to Philadelphia prior to the trade deadline and batted .256 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs in 22 games for the Phillies while dealing with the kidney problem. He finished the season with a .255 average, 5 homers, and 20 RBIs. He became a free agent when the Phillies opted not to offer him a contract. Hayes signed a 1-year contract with the Reds and hit .266 with 15 home runs and 64 RBIs in 103 games. The White Sox have 3 straight 100-loss seasons. They finished last in the AL Central at 60 and 102 last year. They also made a 19-game improvement from 2024 when they went 41 and 121 to set a modern major league record for losses. The White Sox believe they are poised to improve with a promising core of returning young players. Other offseason moves included signing Japanese slugger Munetaka Murakami. In scores from around the NBA last night, in double overtime, the New York Knicks beat the Denver Nuggets 134-127, while the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Toronto Raptors 128-126. The Boston Celtics handled the Houston Rockets 114-93, and the Milwaukee Bucks beat the New Orleans Pelicans 141-137 in overtime. The OKC Thunder fell to the San Antonio Spurs 116-106, and the Memphis Grizzlies beat the Sacramento Kings 129-125. The LA Clippers fell to the Cleveland Cavaliers 127-91. In scores from around the NHL last night, the Florida Panthers beat the Boston Bruins 5-4 in a shootout, while the Montreal Canadiens took down the Winnipeg Jets 5-1. The Minnesota Wild beat the Nashville Predators 6-5 in overtime. The San Jose Sharks fell to the Colorado Avalanche 4-2, and the Utah Mammoth beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-1. The Seattle Kraken beat the LA Kings 4-2, and the Calgary Flames took down the Edmonton Oilers 4-3, while the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Vancouver Canucks 5-2. In scores from NCAA men's basketball, number 10, Michigan State was upset by Minnesota 76-73. Number 8, Houston beat University of Central Florida 79-55. Number 24, Louisville beat Notre Dame 76-65. While number 16, BYU was upset by Oklahoma State 99-92. Number 20, Clemson beat Stanford 66-64. And Portland upset number 6, Gonzaga 87-80. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
AgriTalk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm Chip Flory, your host. We join you weekday mornings from 10 until 11 on WHOW, on AM and FM, and on the WHOW streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
Here are the contest rules for our stations. We allow one person per household to win any prize from the radio stations in a 30-day period. Unless otherwise stated, all prizes are to be picked up within 2 weeks at the studios inside the Big Red Barn at 2980 U.S. Highway 51, 4 miles south of Clinton. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. weekdays. Any cash prize is mailed within 30 days of winning. Only if cash winners call our business line within 2 weeks of their name being drawn to provide their mailing address. Employees and their families of regional radio are not eligible to participate or win any contest.
If the flu's got you down, the Warner Hospital and Health Services Walk-In Clinic can help you feel better fast. CEO Paul Skowron inviting you to make us your backup plan to better health. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump is suggesting that federal agents enforcing immigration law could be a bit more gentle in their duties, using a softer touch, as the president puts it. He also says it was his idea to withdraw hundreds of federal agents from Minneapolis. The search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie is now into its 5th day. The mother of Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie was abducted from her Tucson, Arizona home last weekend. It's been a deadly helicopter crash near Flagstaff, Arizona. The state's Department of Public Safety says a trooper and the helicopter pilot were killed while responding to an active shooter situation. No reports of injuries from last night's fire at the Orthopedic Institute of Lehigh Valley Hospital, just north of Scranton in Dixon City, Pennsylvania. Dow futures down 1